Some people are saying the new slasher movie, In a Violent Nature, is the best slasher they've seen in years. Some are even calling it a masterpiece. I would disagree, but I still had some fun with the movie. It's one of those movies where the overall product doesn't blow me away, but it definitely has some moments of greatness. So what are my top 10 moments of In a Violent Nature? Well, let's talk about it. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the channel and welcome to the 10 best moments of In a Violent Nature. Also, just a heads up, there will be some spoilers in this video, so you have been warned. Also, if you want to see my full review of In a Violent Nature, I'll link that for you here. Go ahead and go check that out. But anyways, let's just get right into it. So this movie essentially is gore, nature, and ASMR. So here we go. Let's get into In a Violent Nature's 10 best moments. So coming in at number 10 for me is going to be the moment when Johnny, the main villain in the movie, drags the guy. So the guy who his friends were making fun of, he was going to go and meet up with the girls from the gas station. After killing him, drags his body all the way to, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's like the ranger station or something that also has like a little museum in it, but drags his body because, some of us have always wondered, what does Jason do after he kills these people? Where does he take them? How does he go through that whole process of setting up the bodies? What does he do with them? Or Michael, or whoever it is. But we get to watch Johnny drag this body over to this ranger station. And then the funny part of this is when he's using the body to essentially be his own little wrecking ball. He breaks into the building. He's using the head to get in there. Cool little moment too, the head goes and falls and perfectly lines up with the light that's coming through from the moon. That was kind of cool. I don't know if that was by accident or not, but that was a cool moment. But yeah, he's using the body. People in the theater were laughing with me because he sees the firefighter mask that he wants to use apparently, and just doesn't break the glass with his hand. He's like, no, I'm gonna use the guy that I just killed, and throws his body against the glass. But that whole moment of him, finding the mask, dragging the body, what he does with it is funny. And I enjoyed that moment. So that comes in at number 10 for me. So up next at number 9 is going to be in the same location, different moment later on in the movie, is going to be when Johnny fights the ranger. I think he's a park ranger. I don't know exactly. The movie just came out. I saw it last night, but we're going to call him a park ranger. So yeah, he fights the guy. Clearly there's some family history between them. It's brutal. He paralyzes the guy. But before that, I was wondering, why isn't he running away? Johnny smashes his finger and the guy can't run away. But anyways, paralyzes him. And then, really, you knew this was going south the moment everything was going down, because the park ranger stands above him with the gun, and then they're exchanging the gun. But anyways, paralyzes the guy, which is pretty damn brutal. You don't see that much, where he's just coherent and awake, and I guess paralyzed because he snaps his spine right there on the spot. And then we start to dip into the mind behind Johnny a bit, because there are some moments earlier on in the movie where you're kind of wondering, is this just a shark? Is this guy just this killing machine that just kind of kills everything in his way quickly and just moves on to the next? Who knows? But here, there's almost some vengefulness to this kill, because he drags him into this shop where they chop wood and puts him into this industrial wood chopper. Cuts off the arm first and then moves the body and then the head next. It's a brutal moment. It's gory. Not the best kill in the movie, but still just an overall moment that I thought was fun. And it was a good time. So that is number 9. So number 8, as the 8th best moment in the movie for me, is when we get to see Johnny's face. I was curious going into this movie if we were ever going to see it. Of course, in the trailers, they keep it on the hush-hush. You get to see the back of his head, so you kind of see his stature. You get to see his hands a lot. You see that, he's clearly gruesome or rotten or something. But, we find out that he's essentially a corpse walking around. And when they do show his face, it's also a moment where you're oh, we're seeing the face now. Yeah, we're seeing the face now. Even the people next to me were oh, okay, now we're seeing the face. But they did a really, really good job with the effects. Whoever was behind the effects of creating the look of this character really damn good job. I mean, he looks dead. Eyes are like white and glossed over, all rotten and nasty. And it just looked really, really good. And it was a moment in the movie that I won't forget and was just pulled off really well. And I like that. So, yep, seeing Johnny's face coming in at number 8 for me is best moment, one of the best moments in the movie. So, all right, up next at number 7 is going to be towards the end of the movie when the two characters are setting a trap for Johnny with the necklace at the end of the movie. There's some stupid moments there where they're like, hey, don't talk so loud, like right next to him. But anyways, that's a topic for another time. But right after that, all of a sudden, a guy is right behind Johnny and is like, come on, you ugly son of a, and then gets an axe right in the face. And his face just collapses. It's all kinds of nasty and bloody and gory. And yeah, just shows the power of this character. And then, of course, after that, he's just hitting his face over and over and over and over with the axe. It had to have been like 50 times. I mean, the guy's face is already turned into leftover grandma's lasagna, but he's just still going to town on it. It was just one of those moments. I mean, like I said, this is not the best kill in the movie or anything like that, but it was kind of like a boom moment and then also a gory moment with some good practical effects and just pulled off pretty well and was pretty funny. So yeah, for me, that was number 7 for me. Coming in at number 6 for me is going to actually be the campfire story. This is when we really get introduced to the younger people in the movie who are hanging out, partying at this cabin. But anyways, they're kind of all around the fire. We get to get a little bit of information on their kind of relationships with each other, their like personalities and whatnot. And we get the whole campfire story. Of course, reminds you immediately of Friday the 13th Part 2 or The Burning. But the campfire story I thought was fun. You know, I'm a sucker for that kind of a thing. You know, I was a Boy Scout when I was a kid, did a lot of camping as a kid. So campfires are always something I enjoy, but I thought it was a fun little campfire story. We get to learn also more about the lore potentially behind Johnny, his family, and this like massacre that they're telling us about. You know, what's true, what's not true, who knows, really? But we do get a little bit of insight on everything that's going on, kind of sets the vibe for the story. And also, I felt like the characters seemed like pretty realistic, like their relationship. They didn't seem too ridiculous or silly or, you know, just like young kids partying that you would normally see in a movie. They kind of seemed like your average, you know, 22-year-olds that would be hanging out in the woods, you know, hanging out, partying at a cabin together. They seem kind of normal. So yeah, number 6 for me, best moments in the movie, campfire story. I enjoyed that. It was a good time. All right, coming in at number 5 is going to be one of the early moments we get in the movie when we're following Johnny. He's walking through the woods. He hears some stuff. He hears some people arguing and he just kind of goes for it, you know? And I like it. It's a funny moment. He's kind of terrorizing the local guy who lives in the house who was like going through some shit with the local cop. He goes in there. He's kind of terrorizing him a little bit. We get the funny moment, you know, the guy's wearing the hat where it's like, I think it says like number 1 motherfucker or something. And then the necklace says the same thing or number 1 son of a bitch or something. I can't remember, but you know, we get that moment, which is kind of funny. And then also you're just, because you're still at that moment where what is this character we're following? What does he do? Does he have a mind? Does he think? Or is he just a machine that just kills and kills and kills? You know, is he crafty? Does he hide? Does he sneak around? What does he do? You know what I'm saying? So we get a little insight on that. He's just basically terrorizing this guy, and this guy just runs off and then gets stuck in the bear trap, and then Johnny kills him. We don't get to see it, unfortunately, but we do get to see the aftermath, which is clearly pretty gruesome. We get to see like the arm on top of the car, the abandoned car, and then I think his head is like all smashed or cut up or something, but it was an enjoyable moment with some really cool shots. They did a really good job hiding his face in certain moments while we're also following him. There was a little like almost flashback thing about, you know, talking about the necklace. Kind of almost hints that this might have been maybe his childhood home, but I would assume He thought the necklace that was in the house that he saw was his mother's necklace, which essentially was the thing that he's looking for. That's what I would assume. And then we see that, like I said, the whole flashback little thing with the mirror, which is the only moment like that in the movie that's kind of like almost a little magical, which was kind of interesting. But yeah, anyways, number 5 for me, just Johnny going in the house, just terrorizing this old local dude, which I thought was pretty funny. All right, coming in at number 4 for me is going to be the whole lake moment. So not only the whole vibe of that moment gave me some great Friday the 13th vibes, and just looked cool, looked cozy, looked nostalgic. But yeah, I mean, of course, you know, okay, so the whole scene is Johnny approaches this lake and he sees 2 girls across the lake on the dock, and they're talking about something. They're kind of like flirting with each other, you know, talking about, you know, playing hard to get, not playing hard to get, stop playing games with me, etc., etc., etc. And the whole time I'm thinking, is he going to get in the water? Is he going to do what I think he's going to do? And yes, he does. Just like we see in Jason Lives, Johnny kind of slowly walks into the water until he disappears. Clearly, you know, inspired by Friday the 13th, but still enjoyable for me. And then you see just the still water. One of the girls disappears, goes off to the lookout point, and one of them's still there swimming. And you're like, okay, what's going to happen here? So there's some suspense there. You know that he's under the water. You know he's going for her. What's going to happen here? How gruesome is it going to be? Yes, I do wish the kill was better, but still, the whole like atmosphere of it, the whole look of the moment, just really cool. Kills the girl, of course, drowns her, whatever, and then walks out of the lake. Yeah, an enjoyable thing for me. I loved the look of it and just the vibe of it, the coziness of it, and it was a fun kill. So, yep, number 4 of the 10 best moments for me is going to be the water kill. So, all right, up next at number 3 is going to be the first big kill that we get in the movie. That's like the first, like, oh damn, okay, this is they're doing some practical effects here. They're gonna not cut corners with some of these kills, and they're gonna be pretty solid. Is gonna be the guy who's partying with the crew. He seems like the guy who, you know, doesn't have a girlfriend. You know, he was flirting with some girls at the gas station earlier. Everybody's kind of, you know, the 2 other people are making fun of him because they think he's going to go meet up with the girls that they met at the gas station. Like, oh, you're going to fill him up? Come on, fill me up. You know, fill me up, fill me up. They're making fun of him, whatever. But he's like, guys, I just need to take a shit. But anyways, he goes off into the woods and he's listening to his Walkman, very similar to the guy who gets killed at the beginning of Friday the 13th, 2009, you know, in the weed farm with the Walkman on. But this guy's similar. He's kind of leaning against the tree. He's got his Walkman on. He's listening to it, so he can't hear anything coming. And then Johnny sneaks up behind him and uses like a saw or something. I'm not 100% sure. I just saw the movie last night. So puts something into his mouth and just pulls and pulls and pulls until he's like stuck on the tree. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool. That was kind of fun. Not really that gruesome, but still kind of a fun kill. Nope, that's not the end of it. And then we cut to the front of the dude who got killed, and the top of his head falls off onto the ground. You're just like, oh, damn. Everybody in the theater said the same thing because, like I said, it's the first like big kill of the movie. Top of the head falls off, and it's gruesome and looks great. And then, of course, it leads into the moment that I talked about earlier in number 10, where he drags the body and shows us kind of what he does with the body after that. But that was a fun kill and the first big kill of the movie from what I remember. So, all right, coming in at number 2 as my second favorite moment is going to be the whole one shot around the cabin during the daytime with Johnny that ends with the big head smash kill. I thought it was a cool ass moment. Not only the big one shot was enjoyable, I like those kind of shots. Made me immediately think of the shot at the end of Pearl, where we're following Pearl as, well, we're not following behind Pearl like in this movie, but we're following the girl running out of out of the house. And then you see Pearl coming. It's a big one shot, and then you get the gruesome moment at the end. Kind of reminded me of that a little bit in some ways, just on kind of how it's shot and just kind of the mood. But anyways, a couple of the friends take off looking for their other friend, and then there's 2 other friends left at the cabin. Johnny sets the little trap, which was kind of interesting. He sets the stick on the car horn, so that kind of lures one of them out. He's circling around the cabin, and then one of them goes out to check on the horn. He comes up behind him, misses. They get in a little tussle, hacks him right on the leg, and then the other guy inside the cabin comes out and shoots Johnny. So kind of takes out Johnny for a moment, which was kind of interesting. I'm not totally sold on that whole trope. We see that in Friday the 13th too, where, they get shot and it kind of just like paralyzes them for a bit. But anyways, he's paralyzed on the ground and then, of course, wakes up, throws the axe, and then kills one of them. And then the guy with the cut leg. I'm thinking the whole time, though, like, you can't run on one leg? Come on, dude. Pretty important moment. Get up on that leg. Get the hell out of here. But still, he stands above him, and everybody in the theater is like, he's not going to do what we think he's going to do. Oh, yes, he is. He goes over, grabs the boulder, circles back, and crushes the dude's head, which I assume was CGI. I'd have to go back and watch to see if they did any sort of like creative cuts or sleight of hands that we didn't notice, so they can go ahead and slide out like a fake body or something, but it looked really damn good when he crushed the head. It was gruesome and bloody. You're like this overhead camera shot, which was cool too. You don't always get shots like that, so that was cool as well. But just a gory moment with a cool one shot mixed in there, some tension there, just a fun moment. So yeah, that's number 2 for me as best moments in the movie. So if you've seen the movie, you probably know where I'm going with number 1. Number 1 is gonna be the biggest kill of the movie, the showcase kill of the movie, when Johnny kills the yoga girl who's at Lookout Point. So like I mentioned earlier, with the whole lake scene, one of the girls wanders off, goes to do her yoga at this like Lookout Point area. And then you've seen it in the trailer too. It's when Johnny kind of approaches the girl who, clearly looks like she's doing something. She's got like a yoga mat out. But anyways, this kill, I was speaking about grandma's lasagna earlier. Well, this kill could be lasagna, it could be spaghetti, it could be who knows what. This kill is crazy. Now, like I said, I've only seen the movie once and I saw it last night. And this happens so fast. So the order where I explain this could be completely wrong. But he's got like this chain with a hook on it, I think. The girl sees him, screams, tries to get away, but there's a ledge. It's like a cliff. But later, kind of does look like she could maybe go down that. But anyways, goes up to her, and I think she's facing away from him over the cliff, and he like hooks her head into her head with this hook thing. And then does like the Jason move, goes right through her stomach. Boom, bloody, gory. But he's still got the chain, and it's hooked to her. And then he just starts pulling and pulling and pulls and like folds her in half like a little Wetzel's pretzel, and her head goes through her stomach and just keeps pulling. There's stuff coming out, her head's coming through. It is just, damn, it is super gory, gruesome, brutal, and probably the goriest moment that I've seen since probably the moment in Terrifier 2. Yeah, just very, very bloody and just a crazy ass moment, and the moment in this movie that I will not forget. Yeah, very, very crazy. And I'm looking forward to seeing that moment again, because then I can kind of like really wrap my head around how they pulled it off and what really happened, because it happened so fast, even though it's sort of drawn out a little bit. But yeah, just a great moment, a crazy ass moment, and a really, really gory moment, and looked like it was mainly practical too, which is bonus points there. But anyways, everybody, those are my 10 best moments of In a Violent Nature. Let me know down below what you thought about this movie if you've seen it. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you enjoy horror content like this. Check out one of these videos next to me if you want more content from me right now. But anyways, everybody, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.